I usually have about $100 on me in cash. For people watching this on the internet who want to mug me.
Please do not.
Please do not. If you're watching this, and I know there are tons of petty criminals out there watching this show on the internet. Don't rob me. It's not worth it. Okay, I'm drunk.
Now the hard-hitting questions. We are all about making money.
Great.
Could you just look at camera and pitch us what you're making money on right now?
Okay. I am currently making money making Big Mouth on Netflix, a show about kids going through puberty. Who thought I would have made money legally doing that?
Hey, do you know what's going on with my nipples?
Oh, yeah. They're gonna get all tender and swelled up like a butterball turkey.
Do you know if this is, like, normal for boys?
Absolutely. I think so.
What?
Maybe.
Hold on.
The show is about kind of how late you started puberty. So I just want to know, when do you expect to start growing?
Geez, my mom is taking me to the doctor, and we're gonna start hormone therapy in, I guess, like a week or something like that.
Did you ever think you were going to be talked about in sex ed classes?
I think I probably had like nightmares that I would be talked about in sex ed classes, being like, you don't want to look like this. But I think, no, it was not even in our intention in creating a show about puberty and adolescence that we would be talked about in sex ed classes. It's not like we are trying to be educators. It just has happened perhaps that there's something lacking in the sex ed system that maybe we're filling some sort of hole.
No pun intended.
Truly not intended.
Big Mouth was prominently featured in Netflix's most recent earnings. So how does it feel to be mentioned in earnings reports now? Is like that as good as having 100 on Rotten Tomatoes?
Well, we do have 100 on Rotten Tomatoes. If there was a modesty report, I would not be on it. But I think, it was always my dream as an artist to be mentioned in an earnings report. But it is, one, it's tricky because Netflix doesn't give any, they don't have ratings, they don't give out their numbers. So as you're figuring out what your value is, it helps to see that you are being mentioned in earnings reports. It means that you have value, we have value to Netflix.
On your Comedy Central show, you skewer, I know we're on the internet, but I can't really say it, rich.
Rich dicks? I can say it.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
How did you avoid becoming one?
I really credit my parents. I credit how we were raised, which was taken care of in every imaginable way, but also made aware that money comes and goes, that just because you have money doesn't mean that you can treat people differently. Every person you talk to is a human being and deserves the same amount of respect. And it's the most invaluable thing I think they taught us.
So now we're gonna take a walk down money memory lane.
Mm-hmm.
Who taught you more about money, your mother or your father?
They both taught me about money in different ways. I grew up very, very comfortably, but my parents were never allowed us to live beyond our means. My mom taught me like day to day about money. She was the one monitoring what I was an allowance. She was the one monitoring the fact that I had spent all of my bar mitzvah money in high school, which then made me get my first job at the end of high school.
Wait, talk about this. You spent all your bar mitzvah money?
I had this bank account that had my bar mitzvah money, and my mom didn't realize that I was like making withdrawals to go like see jazz in the city or pay for like sushi. My friends had credit cards and I would like give them money. They would pay for the dinner. I'd give them cash for the sushi. And not till later did I realize they were never paying their parents back. So they were just pocketing my money.
Your bar mitzvah money.
What a tough childhood I had. But I then got a job, I think my senior year in the candy department at Bloomingdale's.
No.
Yeah, shout out to the White Plains Bloomingdale's. So my mom taught me about the micro version of money and spending, of how to balance a checkbook, all that kind of stuff. My father taught me more about larger business. My dad has built a lot of businesses and is really interested in it and knows nothing about the entertainment business, but understands the underlying concepts of building a company and managing it and is incredibly helpful.
Did you ever think about going into the business world?
No, I interned for my dad in college. I worked at his operation in D.C. and I was not good at it.
What did you do wrong?
I just was bad at I was bad at the day-to-day, and I just was not very good at that stuff. I've really been not very good at anything except comedy. I can't imagine doing anything else because as soon as I started doing comedy, all of the busy work around it didn't felt doable, and I was like, well, if it feels like the busy work is not a problem, then this feels like the field I want to be in.
So improv teaches you to say yes, but sometimes in the business world, you got to say no.
Yeah.
Like, how do you reconcile these as a creator and, somebody that you're the boss now?
I think what Yes and really teaches you is to take risks and get out of your comfort zone, which I think oftentimes the best art comes from that, and the best art oftentimes means the best business.
How would improv help just like a regular person in the working world? Could it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think improv is so much about team building and about finding a way to agree with the person that you're in a meeting with, that as opposed to saying, no, your idea doesn't work, you can say, yes, your idea works, and here's what I'm gonna add to it. And I think that that's an incredibly useful skill obviously for making art, but for sure in business.
Who should we send to improv? Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk?
I think Elon Musk is saying yes and a lot more. I think Elon Musk is seeing possibility everywhere. I would like to send Mark Zuckerberg to a program. I think Mark Zuckerberg needs to say yes and a lot less to the investment community, and I think he needs to take a serious look at what the moral implications of his business are, and that perhaps Facebook doesn't need to be the biggest company in the world at the expense of its users. And I think the investment community can also take a step back and not require incredible constant growth from every company that they're investing in.
Wow, I had no idea you were going to say that, or that you had an opinion about Facebook as a stock.
I have a major opinion on Facebook as a stock, but this is part of a larger opinion I have about how we're investing, and obviously capitalism has allowed us to grow as a country and has helped me personally in innumerable ways, but I think there's real dangers to growth at all costs, and I think we need to be incredibly aware of that.
Are you actively involved in your own investing?
I'm more actively involved in saying, I don't want to invest in this kind of company. I don't invest in alcohol, tobacco, firearms. I don't invest in fossil fuel energy. Because I think we have to put our money where our mouth is. I think the more that we as investors are putting our money where we are morally, the more we're rewarding companies that are being more responsible with their behavior.
I love this. I feel like you could be an activist investor.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it's a thing. You take a stake and you say guys,
Yeah.
you don't need to be so crazy about money in the boardroom.
I
We should
really-
be looking at this.
I do think that we in the investment community really drives what companies do. People with money have an incredible responsibility, and there is a point where you don't need more money.
You know what? I'm worried people are going to see this and you're going to start getting booked on all sorts of places.
I'll go
Meet the
talk.
Press.
Yeah, I'll go talk about that stuff. Somebody's got to. We have to be talking about responsibility. We have to. I've never said this publicly. I figured if I'm going to talk about this stuff, it may as well be here.
All right, speed round.
Sure.
You good? Okay, ready. Saver or spender?
Saver.
Impulse buyer or agonizer?
Impulse buyer.
Cash or credit?
Credit.
Check or Venmo?
Venmo.
If you could design a new $1 bill, who would you put on it?
Alfred E. Newman. Stupid.
Am I lame because I don't know who that is?
He's the guy in Mad Magazine. He's the guy with the front of Mad Magazine.
How much cash do you think you have on you today? Do you have your
I
wallet on you?
I usually have about $100 on me in cash. For people watching this on the internet who want to mug me.
Please do not.
Please do not.
mug
If you're
Nick Kroll
watching
for
this, and I know
It's
there are
not
tons
worth
of
it.
petty criminals out there watching this show on the internet. Don't rob me. It's not worth it.
Do you have your wallet on you?
I do.
Can we see it? We just want to make sure. We just want to trust but verify.
Uh,
Oh yeah, okay. If you have a small wallet,
I have
and
a
he's
small
wearing
wallet.
one.
do have one $100 bill. Yeah, get that close up.
It's not even like 20s.
I mean, it's
You've been
which
to
is
a bank.
now. What if I open it up and Alfred E. Newman was on it? Funny money.
We want to know what you know about money around the world. I mean, I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you travel a lot. You seem to like the world.
I do like the world.
So I'm going to give you some money, and
Okay.
we're going to find out. I want you to tell me if this is more or less than $5.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
Don't cheat.
I won't, I won't.
Okay. This is €5. Do you know if that is more or less than $5?
I think the euro is currently very close to the dollar, but I think €5 is worth a little more than $5.
Very good. Wow,
Yes.
you should be in FX.
Yeah.
50 Swiss francs.
Whew. Oh, I think that's worth more than $5.
Dude, we've not stumped him yet.
This is guilt. This is chocolate money.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm gonna eat it right now. This is Hanukkah. This is
We don't know how much it costs, do we? So good.
Guilt is so good. But I would argue, there's usually like 5 or 6 in a little gold netting, and I bet it's less than $2.
It's priceless.
That's really beautiful.
This is a Chinese yuan.
Okay.
100 of those. Do you think that's more or less than $10?
Now, is this based on what? Is this based on China suppressing the value of this, or is this what it currently is? Look at that, huh?
Yeah, really good.
What is this? So I would say this is more than $10.
It is. We thought of this as a fun game, but this is turning into like a really serious challenge involving all sorts of geopolitical
This is gorgeous.
issues.
I don't know what this is, but it's gorgeous.
It's a Hungarian forint.
Look at this.
Yeah.
This is beautiful.
I mean, I would use that as wallpaper.
Yeah, I would too. Just for real, I would have a whole thing of wallpaper in this. And this is $100, what is
Forint, it's 100 Hungarian forint.
it?
More or less than $10?
I would say less than $10.
Yeah, it's a lot less.
By the way, but what you should acknowledge here is that even though I'm talking about this, it's my great skill as an actor, and the cameraman knows, I'm holding this up into frame with my face still in. This is what the great actors who are not great actors but are good at insert shots are good at.
That's a Canadian dollar, 20 of them, more or less than 20.
More or less than 20. It's a little bit less than 20.
He's unstoppable, people.
But by the way, what country has another country's monarch on its money? Canada, get it together. You're better than this. You don't need the monarch. You don't need Queen Elizabeth on your money anymore. You're your own country with a hunk of a leader.
Who do you
Is
think
he effective? Time will tell.
You think they should put Trudeau on there?
Yeah, put Trudeau on everything.
Okay, Hong Kong dollars.
Hong Kong dollars.
500 Hong Kong dollars.
I would say, is that worth less than 20?
Yeah.
See, this is where the math gets weird. But I love that a Hong Kong dollar still got like weird Englishness to it. Promises to pay the bearer on demand at its office here. What is by order of the board of directors?
Sounds like Mary Poppins.
I know, wonderful. Chief exec. I'm just stalling. But now that it's under Chinese control, 500. See, the metrics are all off, so I'm gonna say this is worth about $20.
It's worth $63.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
It is. I don't
You've
understand.
really gotten none wrong, so you're doing so well. This is from Iran, the reals.
Yeah.
That's 50,000 of them.
Uh,
More or less than $20.
50,000. This is more than $20, and I know that because me and the Ayatollah went to Solomon Schechter together. We went to the same Jewish day school. Is that not a safe thing to say? Is that an unsafe thing to say?
It's $1.19.
It's $1.19. Okay.
So now you know. Next time you go to Iran,
Yeah. I
What you could-
would love to
it's
go.
supposed to be beautiful.
I would love to go. I'd love to
Yeah.
go everywhere. I'd like to go everywhere.
I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for playing all our games.
Thank you for
you
having
were really
me.
good. No one else is going to be that good.
It better not be.